My sister walked into my divorce hearing wearing my wedding necklace, the one my husband bought for our anniversary. She smirked at me and said, "Oh, didn't he tell you? I'm the reason he finally left you." I froze. My own blood. My sister, who cried at my wedding, who held my hand through every heartbreak, was sleeping with my husband behind my back. But what neither of them knew was that I'd spent the last 3 months collecting every message, every transfer, every hotel bill, every lie. And when the judge asked if I wanted to speak, I stood up, smiled, and said, "Your Honor, before I respond, I'd like to submit evidence that will end both of their lives as they know it." I never imagined that the two people I trusted most, my husband Daniel and my sister Brianna, would be the same two who tore my life apart. For years, people said Daniel and I were the perfect couple. Stable jobs, a nice home, vacations once a year, laughter that seemed to echo everywhere we went. My sister Brianna lived just 20 minutes away and visited often. Too often. At the time, I thought it was sweet. She'd bring wine, gossip about her latest terrible date, crash on our couch. She always said Daniel was like the big brother she never had. At first, I smiled at that. I used to think we were a family. I used to think love was safe inside the walls we built together. I didn't know my sister was already crawling through the cracks. It began subtly, a shift so small I almost gaslit myself into believing it. Daniel started locking his phone. He started working late. He started wearing cologne he'd never worn before. The little things. The things women notice but pretend not to because the truth is too devastating. One day, Daniel came home smelling like strawberries, the exact scent of Brianna's hair oil. I made a joke about it. He laughed it off, kissed my forehead, and said, "You're imagining things, babe." But my stomach twisted so violently that I had to step away. Then came the night that changed everything. I had forgotten my water bottle in the living room and walked downstairs around 1 a.m. I froze when I heard Daniel's voice. Whispering. Soft. Intimate. The kind of softness he hadn't used with me in months. His back was to me, his phone held close to his lips. I shouldn't have listened. I shouldn't have stepped closer, but I did. And his words carved themselves into my bones. "I miss you too." No, she's asleep. "I can't stop thinking about the other night." My breath stopped. My heart didn't break, it detonated. My hands shook as I leaned closer, praying I was wrong, praying I misheard, praying the universe would give me one small mercy. And then he said her name. "Bree, don't say that. You know I want you." Everything inside me collapsed. I didn't confront him. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the lamp like women do in movies. I climbed back upstairs in silence and sat on the floor of our bedroom, clutching the edge of the bed like it was the only thing keeping me from falling into hell. The next morning, Daniel acted normal. He kissed my cheek, he asked about my day, he told me he had a long meeting. And as I watched him tie the same tie I bought for our anniversary, a coldness settled in me. The kind of coldness I had never felt. That was the moment I decided I wouldn't confront him with tears. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't ask why. I would destroy them both with the same precision they used to betray me. I started quietly. I logged into our shared phone plan and saw Brianna's number repeated hundreds of times. Every lunch break, every night Daniel quote-unquote worked late, every weekend I visited our mother alone. I dug deeper. Emails, hidden folders, receipts. I discovered hotel bookings under Daniel's name. He had been paying for her spa treatments. He bought her a bracelet identical to the one he gifted me last Christmas. My sister had looked me in the eyes that night, complimented my bracelet, held my hand while wearing the same jewelry he gave her. I spent 3 months gathering everything. Screenshots, bank transfers, timestamps, photos, audio recordings, every lie they whispered, every secret they buried, I resurrected. I became an archaeologist of my own heartbreak. Then came the day Daniel handed me divorce papers. He walked into the kitchen with a solemn expression, as if he was the victim of the story he created. He said, "This isn't working anymore. I'm filing for divorce." His voice was detached, almost robotic. He didn't look at me when he said it. He didn't have to. I already knew. I already knew everything. I nodded calmly, too calmly. "Okay, I said, sliding the papers toward me. I understand. Daniel blinked, surprised. He expected a meltdown, a pleading wife, a broken woman. Instead, I signed my name with a steady hand and said nothing else. His confusion was the first crack in their plan. The hearing was set for 2 weeks later. I arrived in a simple black dress, my hair tied back, no makeup, no jewelry. I wanted to look like a woman stripped bare, a woman left with nothing but truth. Daniel sat on one side of the courtroom table. His lawyer sat beside him. He didn't even meet my eyes. Maybe guilt gnawed at him, or maybe he simply didn't care. Then the doors opened, and that's when she walked in. Brianna, my sister, my blood, my best friend. She strutted toward Daniel like she belonged beside him. Her dress was tight, expensive, revealing. And around her neck, my wedding necklace, the one Daniel bought for me on our 2nd anniversary. I felt the air leave my lungs. She smirked, running her finger along the pendant. Oh, didn't he tell you? I'm the reason he finally left you. For a moment, the entire room blurred. The judge's voice, the shuffle of papers, the tapping pens, everything became distant. My sister's smile was the clearest, sharpest thing in the room. When it was time for statements, Daniel's lawyer said I was emotionally unstable, disconnected, neglecting the marriage. They painted me as a woman who drove her husband into another woman's arms. My sister leaned close to him, giggling. And that was the moment I stood up. Your Honor, before I respond, I'd like to submit evidence that will end both of their lives as they know it. The judge nodded. Proceed. I slid a thick binder across the table. Every page was a weapon. Every page was a truth they prayed I would never find. Phone records, hotel receipts, wire transfers, voice recordings, screenshots of Daniel telling my sister he wished I would just disappear, photos of them together on nights Daniel claimed to be at work. Brianna's messages mocking me, screenshots I had pulled from her iCloud the day she borrowed my laptop and forgot to log out. The judge's expression darkened. Daniel's face drained of color. Brianna froze, the smirk dying on her lips. But I wasn't done. I took out my phone, pressed play, and let the courtroom hear Daniel's late-night whisper. I can't wait until she's gone, Bree. You're so much better than her at everything. The judge slammed his gavel. Custody, assets, fault, all shifted instantly, like a tidal wave swallowing a sandcastle. Daniel tried to grab my wrist as I walked past him. Please, we can fix this. I made a mistake. I looked at him, really looked at him, and said, No, you made a choice. Brianna reached for me, tears streaming. Please don't hate me. I didn't mean. I stepped back. You didn't just steal my husband. You buried your sister. And with that, I walked out of the courtroom. The sun hit my face. The air felt new. For the first time in years, the weight was gone. Not because they apologized, not because the pain disappeared, but because I chose myself.